So, with the new Yu-Gi-Oh season right around the corner and income tax season being nowhere near, I just thought that I'd give you some cards that I think you should be looking into before it's too late. What? I'm a brokey too. What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that's your day. Phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Today, big dog, I genuinely wanted to do something different. I always tell you guys,
buy these cards before they skyrocket in price.
and they're really helpful videos for players that don't necessarily know what cards they should be looking into, but I think that the stakes aren't necessarily high enough. The biggest problem here is that a lot of times I get things right, but sometimes I get things wrong, and I actually reap no consequences from the right or the wrong. I originally did this to make sure that you guys had your quantity, but I actually thought of something completely genius. My guy. I think that it'd actually be really cool if you guys saw me invest into these particular Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and then we can use these investments for something. Of course, I do got to tell you that my Patreons did get this information early as a special thank you for helping me pay my editors, but let's go ahead and jump on in and start talking about some cards that I would genuinely start looking at if I were you, and some cards that I have already picked up. So one of the most interesting things about Yu-Gi-Oh right now is that we're in a state of flux. We're right between where players actually start to go play Yu-Gi-Oh at high level events, such as regionals and above, and we also just so happen to receive the new Duelist Nexus set. Also keep in mind, Konami actually decided to give us a 25th anniversary quarter century rare for every card that is ultra rare and above, and that has depreciated the price of some of the lower end cards tremendously. Personally, I think it was a crazy idea, and I hope that Konami keeps this forever, but we only know that it's going to happen for the next 4 Yu-Gi-Oh sets. So keep this in mind anytime a new set comes out. And that actually brings me to my first card, because I knew, literally looking at this card, that it was going to be a card that you needed. Chimera the Phantom Beast King is a crazy good Yu-Gi-Oh card, my guy. Now I know what you're saying.
Galleys on Copium! Chimera's not the best deck!
Shut up. The Chimera Illusion strategy is actually a really good Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and not only do I have the deck profile as well as some live duels to be able to prove it, I didn't pick up this card just because of the Chimera Illusion strategy. The cool thing about this particular card is that it can banish itself in the graveyard on the opponent's turn to be able to summon a Fiend, Illusion, or Beast monster to your side of the field.
My guy, it says Fiend on it. You know we own Demon Time.
Immediately, the first thing that came to my mind is that this card was a dogmatic punishment target, as well as a target for Ultimate Slayer. It also could special summon Fiend monsters to your side of the field, like if you're playing a Labyrinth or Unchained deck. Or if you're playing Evil Eye, but you know, only the cool ones play Evil Eye. I'm coping, aren't I? There's also other powerful decks that this card could be used in, such as Darkwold and DDD, especially since this Phantom King is really easy to summon. I think a lot of people forget that Cross Sheep is a beast. I'm just putting that out there for Fiend decks. You got your Beast and your Fiend now. I think that Chimera the Phantom Beast King is going to be a fairly good card for some time to come, and that's why I picked up 2 copies immediately upon the sneak peek release. And that's actually the reason why I decided to make this video. When I got these cards, I got them for a really good deal, and I wasn't expecting them to go up immediately, but giving you guys the information on cards before they go up in exchange for your subscription and your undying obedience is probably something that seems like a fair exchange, right? You're subbed, right? But Duelist Nexus isn't the only thing that I want to talk about. I've actually been playing in the Duelist Nexus format for quite some time. It's a really fun format with decks like Manadium, Pearly, Castira, Rescue Ace, so many crazy Yu-Gi-Oh decks, and the format isn't 100% solved. But one thing that genuinely should be solved right now is your ability to pick up Droll and Lockbird. Now, something that I do not like about Droll and Lockbird is that it's either a really good card against a strategy, or it's completely terrible. Dog water. Garbage. Bro, Droll and Lockbird can be more ass than a public bathroom at times. But a really good thing about Droll and Lockbird right now is that some of the best decks in the game, as well as some of the decks that players are trying out right now, Droll and Lockbird is extremely good against. It also seems at the beginning of a format, it's really smart to have your copies of Droll and Lockbird. I picked up a playset of Ultras just recently, and I also picked up some rares because they were really cheap, and that's one thing that I like about this card. There's a variance. You get your rares, your ultras, your golds, your collector's rares, and your ultimates. And unless you are a big bowler, I would probably stay away from the collectors of the ultimates right now. But overall, Droll and Lockbird is a really powerful card that you could place inside of your main board to be able to beat some of the best decks in the game. But also, when the format later developed, you can potentially put it in your sideboard to be able to stop some of the most powerful decks and also not lose to the decks that don't lose to Droll and Lockbird. Now, this part isn't necessarily a skit or anything, but I'm actually waiting to get my hair cut, and like this is looking like string beans or whatever. Like, oh my God, I look bad. I don't know what you guys exactly think, but I look like Mr. Potato Head. So let's go ahead and fix this. You know, I would finish the video, but I don't even think I want to talk to you. I'm in my light skin vibes. Yeah, I look way better. I know you know I look way better. Moving back to Duelist Nexus, there are still some cards that are ridiculously underpriced that I've invested into, and I also think that you should be looking into as well. One of them is Evilsaur Lars. Now, Evilsaur Lars is really crazy, and I think a lot of people aren't looking into it right now because it has Evilsaur in its card text, and people will sometimes see a monster archetype and regulate it to the rest of the cards. But what's really crazy about Evilsaur Lars and makes it different from Evilsaur Logia and Dalka, which have been previously really powerful Xyz monsters that the strategy has produced, is that this card is generic. It just requires 2 level 6 monsters to your side of the field. My guy, off the top of my head, I can think of a lot of level 6s, and they summon themselves for free. It's almost like Konami gave us some light and dark graveyard stopping cards that can also make this card. Now, of course, Lars does reward you more if you just so happen to be playing a dinosaur deck, which can easily make it. But I genuinely like this card as a board-breaking type card, a monster that you can summon on your way to beating your opponent, or even just that extra oomph you might need to be able to stop your opponent from doing something really important. The best thing about this particular card is that it's only $3 too. I actually picked up 3 copies of these cards, and I'm still waiting for them in the mail. Well, anytime now. Oh, shit. Hey. Big dog, I just checked the mail. I got something. It might not be what we're looking for, but I think it's Lars. Big baby. Come on, my guy. Let's go. Let's Union Plus Life Term Insurance Plan. Now, I didn't think at the time that Lars was a very good investment at $10 to $15 at sneak preview, but a card that I actually got for way cheaper than what it was, and this would 100% be a card that I think you should buy before it skyrockets in price, is Fusion Ornament. Now, per my rules that I made to make everything fair, I'm allowed to buy 3 copies of this card online. Any other copies that I get have to come from either trades or from other people, but only after this video has came out. And I think that 100% makes the game fair because Fusion Ornament is a busted card in my mind. Now, the reason why I like this card so much is because it has limitless potential. It allows you to be able to special summon any monster, not only from your extra deck, but also from your graveyard too, meaning that it's almost like an instant fusion, except it can never go dead, as you'll always have a target in theory. This card can also be used for what it is originally made for, which is fusion summoning, but it doesn't have a restriction that will prevent you from synchro summoning or Xyz summoning or whatever you want with it. Hell, this card doesn't even have a life point cost. I genuinely think that it's a card that you should pick up, and I've been picking up as many as I can whenever I can. And plus, it's only a matter of time before players start summoning monsters like Flame Swordsman to their side of the field and figuring out some really wacky combos with it. Now, moving away one more time from Duelist Nexus, that should be right here. I think that there's another card that you are going to want, and it's because I think that Pearly is simply one of the best decks in the entire game. Pearly is a strategy that just so happened to have gotten support from Duelist Nexus and did really well over the Remote Duel Extravaganza weekend. It would only be smart to, like, I don't know, time travel to the past? Future? Somewhere in between, to be able to have a card that could effectively stop Pearly as well as some other archetypes. With that being said, I think Retaliating Sea is a really good Yu-Gi-Oh card right now. Now, Retaliating Sea was a card that I looked at really hard because not only does it have a great matchup against Pearly, it has a great matchup against any deck that wants to use spell cards to be able to special summon, whether it's using cards like Monster Reborn. I know it sounds really ridiculous, but I just lost to somebody using Monster Reborn in Master Duel, or using cards like Polymerization and wants to get their monsters into the graveyard. But I really didn't stop there. I actually doubled down and picked up some Contact C's as Retaliating C can search the card, and I also picked up some XC Encores because that's a really good card against Pearly, just in case it gets too strong. I've always been a fan of double and tripling your bases here, especially when there are cards that are really easy to get. A lot of times it's better to have and not need than need and not have, especially when you think that they're very good Yu-Gi-Oh cards, because eventually those cards will be sought after soon and you'll have them. Big dog, I am not gonna lie, that is why I have so many great cards when everybody needs them. Now, before I get in my final card, I really want to know, what do you think are some cards that players should be picking up right now? Maybe there's a particular card that I missed, or maybe it's a card that you really like right now. Let me know down below in the comment section. I didn't think any of these cards would be reprinted anytime soon, so I thought that they were fairly safe and good pickups, but sometimes you may have to go above and beyond your means and maybe spend a little bit more than you would like to pick up a particular card, and that's exactly what I did with Unchained Soul King Yama. Unchained Soul Lord Yama, because I'm not a king anymore. Now, I actually picked up Yamas at the time of the premiere, and it was mainly because I had so much stuff left over. I could actually afford to go into the negatives, knowing that Yama wouldn't be $15 a week and be perfectly fine with it. The reason why I picked up Unchained Soul King Yama, there's a couple of reasons. One, this card looks absolutely phenomenal, and as you guys know, I am a
Demon King.
my guy. It's a reason why my favorite anime is Yu Yu Hakusho. Spirit God! But the next reason why I actually picked up this card is because not only is it fairly generic, only requiring 2 Fiend monsters, its second effect is also fairly generic. Kind of like how I said Chimera the Phantom Beast King was good, this is kind of good for almost the same reasons. Being able to summon any Fiend monster from your hand or graveyard after one of your cards have been destroyed, I thought was way too good to pass up. And like I said before, I am a
Demon King, or I should say, the ladies call me a whole demon out there. When it's demon time, we already know what we doing, guys.
I ain't do no blue pills because I ain't old yet, but my bag consists of course, my trusty spirit gun, if you know what I mean, an extra change of clothes, and protection. My guy, I always keep myself a TheCaliEffect sleeves on me. You do it too, and you'll never get a girl pregnant. Holy crap. Oh my God. Wow. That means 2 things. Go to TheCaliEffect.com and pick up your sleeves today. And that's all that I have for the powerful Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I would not hesitate to pick up right now. As you can see, I pretty much picked up every single card on my list, and I can't wait to make an update video to you guys some more cards, and then also be able to tell you about my successes as well as my losses. Of course, big dog, if you really did enjoy this video, you already know what to do. Go ahead and let us know down below in the comment section what type of video do you want to see next, and be sure to check out some more TheCaliEffect content as I'll catch you on the next one.